Today, we are going to be ranking all of the items within Fortnite. I know this video has been a while coming, and I guess we're coming up to the new season, so there isn't too much to film in-game. So bang, let's do a tier list video. First things first, if you guys enjoy these tier list videos, I know it's been a while since we did the last one. Make sure to hit that like button down below. If we hit 100,000 likes, I will do a tier list on all of the Fortnite collabs, if you guys want it. But as you can see today, we got a blank canvas here, a brand new tier list, and we're going over all the items within Fortnite. As you can see, we are covering not just the consumable side of things, but also the traps and the accompanying weapons and items, random things within Fortnite. I don't think I've missed one, but be sure to let me know if I did in the comment section, because I'm sure I am. There's a lot of weird stuff in this game. Ranking this time around will follow God Item / Trap. That was probably broken. Really good. Self-explanatory. It's really good. Practical. You know, it's good to have it in your inventory. It makes sense. Situational. Only very rarely should you use this. You shouldn't always have this in your inventory, but like sometimes it makes sense. Why are you holding this? Pretty self-explanatory once again. You shouldn't be holding that. It's dumb. And then last but definitely not least is bottle rockets. It deserves its own tier at the bottom, and that's a little bit of a spoiler to come. All right, let's jump into this tier list. Don't forget, if you guys want to see another one of these, 100,000 likes, I'll make it happen. For those of you who haven't seen a tier list video before, I rank things based on how fun they are, and that's for both scenarios, you having it and having it used against you, because sometimes it can be a bit one-sided. And then just how useful they are, both in competitive and public games. Pretty self-explanatory. Item good, item bad. You get the picture. All right, let's get this party started. We got bandages. Now, personally, in pubs, I never carry bandages ever. You won't ever catch me. It's kind of like a last resort med that I'll hold. And I'll be honest, sometimes in competitive, it is pretty good to have. Like, you can never underestimate the bandages. So I'm going to chuck it under situational. You don't have any other meds, you go with bandage, because it's like the all reliable. It's pretty good. Next up, we got the med kit. So obviously 10 seconds heals you for 100. Staple since the start of Fortnite. I'd have to say pretty universally practical. Like, it's good to have something that takes you all the way up on your med slot. This in combination with minis is kind of like that really good med variety, or floppers. Obviously floppers kind of overtook medkits in a way, I guess you could say, for that med slot, but practical, I think, is where we can put that. Mini shields. Now, these bad boys, when they first came out, you carried 10 at a time. Only OG kids will remember that. It's a very good med to have. At the time when it first came out, you only had the 50 pots, and it was very rare that people would be at 200 because the 50 pots were kind of rare. But yeah, minis, I'd have to chuck them if I'm gonna be honest. I almost want to do God Item here. For green, they're really good, so I'm gonna chuck them in really good. All right, 50 shield pots. I don't know. That's a bit of a hard one, I reckon. I think I might have to chuck that one under practical. I'd rather have 6 minis than 3 bigs, because trying to pop a full shield in the current like climate of the game where everyone is good, it's kind of hard to get that 5 seconds off. So for that reason, I kind of put minis over the full shield. These aren't going to be in any order on the tiers themselves. All right, next up we got Slurp Juice, which actually we saw return in those LTMs just a little bit ago. I actually thought it was better than what it was in those LTMs. I thought it didn't take as long to actually activate. Like, it takes like 2 seconds. Obviously heals you for 75 over time. I think just because you only carry 2 at a time, I'd probably have to put it into practical as well. It's good, not amazing. It's all right. All right, next up we got the normal Chug Jug, which isn't in the game anymore. Used to be. It's pretty self-explanatory, like the Mythic Chug Jug. 15 seconds, full shield, full health. That's the problem though. 15 seconds. When it first came out, you had bots. You could get your Chug Jugs off all the time. Now, if you can get 15 seconds, then nobody gets 15 seconds in a build fight. So for that reason, I think in the current meta, it would be situational, but back in the day when it was in the game, it was practical, because I'm going to judge on when it was in the game. It still wasn't that good, but it's practical. All right, next up we got the Mythic Chug Jug, which I think is actually really cool how they implemented that, and I'm really excited to see what they do next season with the Mythics. It seems to be random things like the Shockwave Grenade Launcher, just really kind of random stuff like that. But yeah, I think I'd have to put this under really good. Like, at the 15 seconds, once again, a little yikes, but I suppose if you can try and get away with a grappler or the kit Shockwave, you might be able to pop the Chug Jug. Obviously, this one refreshes over time and is unlimited, so for that reason, I'll chuck it under really good. Next up we got the Chug Splashes. I love Chug Splashes. Like, they are just the best. Like, having 6 of those is I'd almost go as far as to say God item. And you know why I am going to go God item because having 6 in a slot beats all of them. Obviously, you still want to try and combine it with minis so you can try and pop the minis and then, or floppers. I think this and floppers is probably the best combo. I'm going to chuck it down as a God item. Not broken, but God item. All right, next up, we got the vegetables and fruits, which I'm going to speed through a little bit because most of them are kind of the same. Banana, I'm going to chuck this into why you're holding this. There is no situation why you should ever have the banana in your inventory taking up a slot unless you literally are shambles and there's no other white meds, and even then it heals for 5. You should not be carrying this. All right, next up we got apple. Interesting item given the current news, but I'm definitely going to chuck it in where the banana was. Same deal. After that, we got corn and cabbage. I actually kind of liked this addition to the new season, and I chuck these down as situational. They heal you over time. I actually won a game eating corn and cabbage. It is possible because it kind of heals you over time and they stack. So yeah, I'd say situational. I'd almost go to say if you have a full stack of it, it could be practical, like better than a med kit because you can pop it over time. And you know what? I'm going to do that because I think there is an abundant amount of both of them. It's better to have than a med kit. All right, next up, we got the chili. Yeah, you know where this baddie's going. I think everyone knows where this baddie's going. Why are you holding this? It's the what? No, obviously not. It's God item, guys. It's got in competitive pubs. Yeah, everyone loves to go fast. Everyone loves a chili. It sucks there isn't any like natural spawn of it on the ground. You can only get it out of the noms boxes on a chance. Pretty self-explanatory. You go fast. Fast is fun. God item. Yeah, it's super cool. I think it definitely brings up the skill ceiling of the game when people like chili v chili fights and stuff. I don't know. I just really like that. And I would love to see more of the chilies in the next season. Maybe like a chili place we can actually pick them up. Shield mushrooms. I'd say these are pretty much on the same line of why are you holding this, but also situational. I'll check it situational because obviously it spawns on the ground too. So sometimes collecting like 8 or 9 of them in a spot is actually kind of a vibe. I never see that many apples or bananas on the ground, but the shield mushrooms, you can get them in quite a few spots. And I'm going to do this one next, which I can't really say too much about because I've actually never seen it. And that's the gold mushroom, which allegedly gives you 100 shield in one, but it's like a 1 in 100,000 or 1 in 10,000 spawn. I've never seen it. I think they took it actually out of the game just because how cool I find that premise of just getting super lucky. I want to chuck it into really good. I love the idea of it. Mechanically, I don't think it makes too much sense to hold. Actually, 100 shield on one pop is actually kind of OP in itself. Yeah, I'm gonna chuck down. Imagine you get cracked, little half-second chomp back up to, that's like 2 slurp fish. Next up, we got the slurp mushrooms. I love these baddies. Definitely, I'd actually go as far as to say really good. Just because like you can pick them off the ground in Slurpee. Find them in the noms boxes. They do health, then shield. Yeah, I'd say super solid item for sure. And carrying a stack of them, I've actually done a couple times. It's only if you can get enough of them, it makes sense. Alrighty, coming up to the end of our healing section, we've got the small fries. Really good for trying to win those games where you only fish, which I've done way too many times in this channel. I'd probably have to put these into situational. They only go up to 75, so they're kind of like a bandage in a way. They're only very sparingly kind of there, and it's like, oh damn, I have a fishing rod and there's a water there. I might be able to get, it's when you're like basically begging for the white heals. I'd say situational. You'd never really carry them. Next up, we got flopper, which I think I want to actually put into God item. Oh, actually, I'll go really good. Yeah, really good. It's just like this in combination with the minis or the chug splashes is just like super good. Yeah, kind of iconic. Heals 50 whites in like 1 second. Get 4 of them. Run it up. That's a really good item, boys. Next up, we got Slurpfish. The only reason I didn't put Flopper in God item was because I think Slurpfish deserves that. Having 3 of them, you can go straight up 150. Like, that's going, you go from 50 to 200 in like 3 seconds. And I don't think anything else can really do that fast. Not even chug splashes. So for that reason, it's definitely going to go God item for me, boys. All right, next up, we got the only 2-slot item in the game. Unfortunately, not in the game right now. And that is the Bandage Cannon. I really like the utility of this. Obviously, unlimited bandages and being able to heal your teammates. I really like that. I think it was just kind of cool and creative on how they came up with this and added to the game. And I want to like rank those higher. There's like kind of just innovative ideas that the Fortnite team think of. I think they definitely need to go up higher here. So just for like the general concept, I'm going to chuck it under really good. I just liked it as an item. It was balanced. It wasn't, it like encouraged team play of like a medic role. Like I just loved all of that. I'm going to chuck it into really good. I really like that item. Next up, we got fishing rods. We don't have harpoons here because we put that in the weapon one. So the thing with fishing rods is they can legit win you games. Obviously, you guys have seen several times where I heal out in Storm and get the fish. You can only really do that with a fishing rod. So it's got to go somewhere. Obviously, getting those purple gold weapons is super cool from the fish ponds. And you might even chance yourself a mythic goldfish. But I think given how the harpoon exists, it can't go that high up on the list because I normally don't fish unless I have a harpoon. So I'm going to chuck it into situational. And sometimes you can use it to like get mats in competitive and stuff like in late game. So I'd say pretty good. Situational, not practical. You wouldn't really carry around a fishing rod all the time. All right, that's our first phase of our healing slash meds. Let me know what you guys think. I think that's a pretty balanced one. I can maybe see moving Slurp Juice up one and maybe the 50 pot up one. But apart from that, I think that is a pretty concise list. Let me know what you think for the meds. Let's go on to the next section, which is traps. Starting things off with the campfire. Oh, who here remembers when they added campfires to the game? That update night was the worst update night of update nights. I didn't add it to the game, but we thought it was in the game. And everyone on Twitter was like memeing it and thinking it was in the game. I remember me and Elliot stayed up to 6 a.m. the next morning when it came out 6 p.m. the day before looking for a campfire. That's how dedicated to the grind we are. But aside from that, 2 heals per second. You could chuck 4 of them down back in the day when they were in the game as an item. Healed 8 tick, made heal games kind of like meta. I actually liked that like campfire heal game meta, but I definitely have to chuck these into practical. Actually, no, really good considering it's a trap slot and it's free. I'd have to go really good. It doesn't actually take up an item slot. That's the thing. So I'd chuck really good. And the current campfires, I use campfires all the time. I love the campfires around the map. Super good for me. Definitely really good. Next up, we got bounce pads. I loved bounce pads. Everyone loves bounce pads. I think that's like a very universal thing, except they never really stayed in the game long. And I remember when they took them out and everyone was like, why'd you take them out? And they added them back. It's like, they normally add them back at the end of every season. They didn't do it this time though. Well, I guess I kind of did with the LTMs. But yeah, I'd have to put this down as really good. Everyone loves bounce pads. I'd love to see them back next season. It'll be interesting. Something on this list here will come back next season. And take a guess what you think it might be in the comment section, because I reckon at least 3 of these things that aren't in the game will come back next season. In a different way, maybe, but they'll be back. Next up, we got chiller traps. Ooh. Yeah, like good memes, but I don't know about that, Chief. I'm gonna chuck it into situational. Only very rarely when you needed to get to zone and zone was down a hill, you'd use the chiller trap to put ice on your feet and roll down the hill. That's the only situational place you'd probably use it. You wouldn't really use it on your enemies because you'd save that for the damage trap. Not one of the greatest. Following up by another one I didn't like too much, which was the poison trap. Again, you trap someone, you put it in there, deals damage over time. Not as good as the damage trap, but it had more range, had like 2 or 3 tiles more. Yeah, I'd put it into situational again. It didn't hit for me, the poison trap one. So yeah, situational, I think, for me. And again, let me know what you guys think. Just didn't do it for me. Next up, we got the Zap Trap, which was actually a throwable. Like, the whole concept of the trailer was you throw it at the enemy's builds, they get zapped in their builds. That was kind of cool, but people don't really camp in builds in pubs. And I don't actually know if it ever made it to competitive, or I definitely didn't see it get used in competitive. I'm going to put that into why you're holding this, because it was an actual item. It wasn't a, like, actual trap slot, even though it was called a trap. All right, next up, we got the damage trap, which we actually saw return to Fortnite in a few LTMs just a bit ago. Haven't seen it in a while. It's really hard to rank this one. It does 150 still. You're kidding me, dude. All right, that's cooked. I think if this was introduced into the game right now, the skill of all the players, I think it would be a god item, because people would just trap people get coned all the time. I'd probably have to put it as a god item. Very annoying to play against. I really hated sweats with traps, and I was actually really glad when they took them out. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like them because I couldn't use them very well. Next up, we got the launch pad. I'm not even gonna try to explain why I need to put this here. It goes to god item. I actually beg that we never see this leave the game again, because those dark days in chapter 2 season 1 when we didn't have one, those dark days, we don't want that again. All right, it's consistent. Everybody loves it. I never found one person that said, wow, man, launch pads suck. All right, last trap we got is the turret. When this baddie came out, it was so overpowered. You couldn't shoot them in the head because the guard actually protected you from the front. And it took a while to cool down. It was beefy. I'd have to chuck it into really good. It got nerfed a little bit though towards the end. So I'd probably have to say situational to where it got to the point at the end. I know people late game would use it on height to try and not get shot out, which was kind of meta because it had like 5,000 health or 500 health, which is like a lot. Interesting item. I don't think it would do well in the current game. Points for trying something different for sure. Next up, something we definitely shouldn't give points for trying. Bottle rockets. they just didn't do anything. I do not like bottle rockets. Alrighty, now we got some actual good weapons. Grenades. Oof. Tell you what, grenades been here since the start of Fortnite, and I feel like nobody really knew how to use them until I think FNCS trios. Like, that's when people figured out that nades were cooked. Like the 65-meter strat. I think it was trios. It was a squads even. It took a while for people to figure it out. But yeah, nades in the current game, really, really good. I think they're back in competitive now. I'd actually have to chuck them down as really good. I almost want to do God Item. If you can spend your time learning the 65-meter strat, learning how like kind of angles and distance of when it blows up, you can do some really insane stuff with the grenades, especially in team game modes when you throw them at the same time. They can't do anything. So I'm gonna have to chuck them in a really good borderline God Item. Next up, we got Dynamite, which I don't know. This one just wasn't too great for me. It took a while to load up. In competitive, it was super annoying to deal with. I chuck it under practical. I don't know how it would fit in the current game, but it was definitely practical. I didn't like it though, but it was decent, but I didn't like it. All right, next up we got clingers. Everyone loves a sticky grenade. These were kind of cool. I liked all the meme strats you could do with them and stuff, like clinging your friends and they run into them and blah, they're dead. They used to be very overpowered when you throw multiple because they used to all break it when they lost the structure they were attached to, and it was very overpowered. But yeah, super cool item. I like the clingers. I don't think they are actually as good as the grenades anymore because of the way that they don't blow up at the same time, and you can't really 65-meter nade strat them because they blow up when they touch something. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna chuck them under practical for that reason. Next up, we got the trip mines. Cool concept, you know, revealing on the map. I don't know. I just didn't like these too much. I would almost chuck them into why are you holding this? And I am, because I actually think these items are better than that. Yeah, just something about the trip mine just didn't hit for me. 60 damage. I don't know. Feel free to have your own opinions, but the trip, it just didn't do it for me. Next up, quite controversial item, C4. I think every version of the C4 for the most part was broken. Oh, the first part wasn't broken, but there was that scary part during like 6 or 7 where this thing was dumb broken. I still think it was broken in chapter 2 season 2, but in competitive they nerfed it, so it wasn't a problem. I think for that reasoning, I'll put it into really good. C4, really good. Back in its heyday, God item, and definitely on the broken side. But I'll rank it on where it kind of was last, so really good. Stink bombs. Jeez, this is another tough one. It kind of, for me, borderlines God item if you have enough of them, especially in competitive, because if you have 20 of them, I don't care who you are, unless you have floppers, you are dead, because you can hit them for 510, 510, 510, do it 10 times, they're dead. So I'm probably gonna chuck these under really good. Not quite God item, but up there for sure. Definitely one of the closest ones, borderline and God item for me. Next up, we have airstrike grenades, which I think about these items on the update night that I covered them, and this one was kind of a painful one. Remember, I was trying to sweat a dub on NA servers, and like, just it was hard. They were rare, legendary, and I saved it to the end. I was like all hyped to use it on the last guy, and then it bounced off and it missed him, and that kind of made me really sad inside. So that, and they weren't really useful at all for the most part. The range was too small for it to be really effective. So I'm going to chuck that into why you're holding this, because why are you holding this? They weren't good. Next up, we got storm flips, which they were like kind of good. I actually remember using this in the Fortnite Pro-Am where I came 9th. I used one of these to like hang out in the zone in the late game, which by the way, I came 9th at that Pro-Am, and everyone wants to forget about that. But for me to carry my duo to 9th, let's talk about that. Alrighty, storm flips. I loved the meme potential with these baddies. You know, you heal out in storm. I love a good heal out in storm, and these were like the opposite of that. They created not storm in the storm. That's what we're gonna call it. As a weapon, not very effective at all. For memes, they did more than most of these items on the list. So for that reason, I'm probably gonna chuck it into, it wasn't good. Like, it would borderline why are you holding this, but I loved the memes. So situational. But personally, love the storm flips. Again, epic. I love it when you do items like this that are just like no one sees coming, and they have good meme potential. Next up, we got balloons. I love balloons. All right. These were the only counter to the Infinity Blade, and nobody realized that. Instead, everyone complained on Twitter. Except me. I knew that balloons were the way. And I love balloons. We saw balloons come back in that LTM. Didn't get enough of them. quite honestly. If I'm being real here on this list, it's situational. Infinity Blade trying to attack you, trying to get up a hill. The one balloon strat, not the meme one, but the actual one balloon strat is decent. I just hated like letting go of the balloons. Felt kind of clunky because you had to like hit like space or something, or control, I forget, crouch or something. I don't know. I didn't like that part of it, but I would probably put these into practical. They're very situational, but I love them. Okay, this tier list, like it reflects on how good they are in the game, but it doesn't reflect how much I love them. All right, next up, we got Boogie Bombs. I love Boogie Bombs. All right, when they first came out, they were broken. 10-second dancing, and you could shoot them, and if you hit them, they didn't break their dance. So it was dumb overpowered. I would probably have to say they're at least really good in the current game. They came back in an LTM, but I think just having some form of stun grenade on unsuspecting opponents in the current meta would be really good, especially with the charge. Like Boogie, charge it all the way up, bang, like it would be really good in this actual. I feel like it would have fit really well into the meta of this game. Actually, I'll chuck it into really good, not quite god item, I don't think. Next up, we got Boombox, which I think is the shortest lifespan of anything in the game. I'm actually going to chuck them into bottle rockets because very much so like that. I just didn't like them at all. I mean, no, bottle rockets is for bottle rockets. What am I kidding? But why are you holding this? I want to bring it down. Like this is like bottle rockets. Like boomboxes didn't make the game fun. Yeah, I didn't like the boomboxes at all. And I think Fortnite saw the data on this one because they pulled it out of the game pretty quickly after it came out. I'm pretty sure it's the shortest lifespan of any item in the game. Alrighty, next up, one of the cooler items I think we've had in the game, and I really love this one. It's the treasure chest, and I am actually gonna chuck this into really, like, I'm gonna chuck it into god item. It probably should go under really good, maybe even situational, maybe practical. But I remember in the competitive World Cup days, we would use, I'll call it treasure map. It was just so cool. Good Fortnite. Honestly, season 8 was one of the higher peaks for me in enjoyability of the game. I loved the whole treasure trail concept. It wasn't probably the greatest thing to do, but just going there, getting like gold guns, getting kitted, like, I love that, man. I'd love to see more cool things like that in the game. Actually, on that note, I'm putting balloons back up the god item because I don't care. In my heart, that was a god item. All right, next up, we got the Snowman. I don't think too much about the Snowman. Like situational at best. Good meme potential though. Situational at best. Yeah, this is cool. It's all right. Next up, we got the bush. These were pretty good, the bushes, actually, when you think about it. Like, you get a free extra shield. So I'd have to put them under really good where they're currently at. But they're not really in the game right now. Creeping cardboard, it borderlines between why are you holding this and situational. And I'm probably going to put it why are you holding this. I like these hideable meme items, but the cardboard one was, you know, a little funny. You could put C4 in it and blow someone up. We did a video on that. I don't know. And you know what? It's hard because I'm looking at these at different perspectives. Like, I'm sure the cardboard in season 4 or 5 would have been really cool, but the game is just so different now that I don't enjoy it as much. Next up, we got snow grenades. I actually loved these. These were kind of sick. It was like impulse grenades, but not quite impulse grenades. I'd chuck it under practical for sure. I'd run these in my inventory when they were out. They didn't last very long. Definitely better than the chiller traps because they were portable. I liked these ones. Crash pads. I think given how the latest FNCS went and just the amount of exploits that you can do with a crash pad, it's got to go to god item. I definitely carry these. And even when like helicopters first came out, like the best thing to do would be helicopter, crash pad, drum gun. That was like my go-to. Just jump out of the helicopter, crash pad down, drum gun the guy, get back to the helicopter, do it to the next 10 people. Yeah, I think the crash pad is pretty god item. I think we can all agree on that. Next up, we got glider redeploy. So if those of you guys don't know, back in the day, we had glider redeploy that wasn't an item, and then it was an item, and it wasn't as good as it was before when it wasn't an item. But with that being said, when it was in the game, it was actually pretty good. You watch back a lot of World Cup qualifiers, and they did run it in the solos because it was kind of guaranteed mobility. But I definitely put it down as practical for sure. Definitely made sense sometimes. Next up, we got impulse grenades. Dude, when these came out, man, I love impulse grenades. The nostalgia of watching just like Twitch, like Ninja and everyone just yeeting off with like impulse historical item. I love an impulse grenade. You can't get sick of an impulse grenade. God item. Well, no, realistically, it was really good. But next up, we got the jetpack. A lot of people didn't like it when it first came out because you could kind of cheat height. Like, this is when build battles were starting to become meta, and like, you know, someone would take height by just pressing space instead of doing some mechanical 90 or something. So people didn't like it for that reason. I think it wouldn't sit well in any competitive setting right now just because of that reason. It would be kind of weird to see how it would fit in the game right now. I actually liked it though. I remember everyone was super hyped about it. It was definitely practical. I don't know whether it was really good, but it was practical. All right, next up, we got junk riffs. These were back in the LTM not too long ago, and I actually really enjoyed these things. They come up with mats and ammo, and just like super cool to like chuck them on a build fight and just see it just absolutely delete the build. I actually really liked these, and they made a lot of sense too. I don't think they ever really saw it in competitive because it would have been broken to like late game use one of these, but I could honestly, I'd love to see it back in the game personally. I'd chuck it down as god item, but realistically, it was really good. It wasn't a god item. Next up, we got the Mythic Goldfish. All right, so I've only seen this twice really in game. Once where we were doing like a live stream competition, and whoever found it, we gave them like $1,000. That was like almost a year ago now, because it is 1 in a million. And this, I have to break this item into 2 parts because I love the concept of just something dumb rare. Like it's 1 in a million, and I love just watching a tournament and knowing that somehow some kid could get this item. Imagine World Cup 2021, like just everyone sweating out super hard, and just like, let's say Booger just gets this out of a pond, and the whole crowd just goes, no, like got it. And then like he gets a clip with it and he wins the game with the goldfish. Pros probably be mad. And I don't know how it actually is good at the game, but I just love the concept of it. I'm gonna chuck it in god item. It is actually good. It's a 1 hit, so it is good. But it drops on the ground and it's got, you know, things to make it not stupid dumb, but it is good. And the story around it, love it. God item. Alrighty, home stretch here. Let's run it up. Presents. Yeah, I guess they're kind of good in a way because you throw it down, you get items. You didn't really carry it. So Portaforts. I remember the trailer for this when it first came out, and I remember using these to like break fall damage and stuff when that was such a good meme. Not so much anymore for sky bases and stuff, but definitely really cool item. I'd say situational though at best. Never saw it got used in any competitive setting because just your slots are just worth too much. I don't know. Maybe it could be good now with how many people prioritize just having mats and stuff. Portaforts. Again, I think they took these out of the game because they couldn't actually work in like competitive stacked games, but it would be really cool to see a Portaforts just come out late game. I'd probably still say situational though. Kind of glad these aren't really in the game right now, not gonna lie. Actually, I'm gonna put Portafort down to why you're holding this. It didn't, yeah, it really makes sense. You know, you get one, you throw it next door, and just that's kind of it with it. Rift to go. God item. The only thing that makes me mad, and I only noticed this in the last time it was in the LTM, was that you used to be able to shake it and pick up like say minis and then get in the air with your 5 slots. Not anymore with this. It doesn't let you pick up. But yeah, I remember playing World Cup duos with Fresh, and it was just like, yeah, Rift to go vibes. It was just like the biggest RNG thing, which probably wasn't too good from a competitive setting, but like it was just like, it was the god item. It would be like, you wouldn't really say like, oh, I got a gold spaz, and then, you know, that'd be cool, but it was like, yo, I got a rift to go out of a chest. Like that's like the #1 comeback in World Cup duos. It was like, yo, rifts, and then you get 2 of them, and it's like you're guaranteed top 10 unless you're actually a bot. But yeah, god item. I think everybody can say that. Everyone loves mobility. You go to the top of the map. Everyone loves that. Rusty cans. Yeah, it's for what it is. It is why you're holding this. You never see anyone carrying that. Shadow bombs. I want to put these back on god item, and I love a shadow bomb. Everyone loves a shadow bomb. They are incredible. All right, I remember doing World Cup duos with Fresh. That was the #2. It was, I got Rift to go and I got shadow bomb. It was just so good. You stay alive, you jump on a wall, you keep jumping on a wall. It's a cool item. Shadow bombs. Everyone loves shadow bombs. God item. Shield bubble. I think these would have worked really well in Chapter 2 Season 1, but I think they tried to refresh everything by taking everything out of the game for the most part. Yeah, I really feel like these would have been good on boats to give boats a reason to be able to use in like competitive formats, but shield bubbles for the most part were just super annoying when they came out because it came out during mechs and no one liked Fortnite during mechs. So like, I'm gonna chuck it into situational. All right, we're nearly done here. Gonna chuck in super impulse to god item. I love these things. Just being able to breach into walls. Essentially what Kit's shockwave launcher is now is just this, but you throw them a bit slower, I guess. Really cool. I remember when they added to the game. This was like peak Fortnite when I was really enjoying it. I still am, but not as much as then. I think we can all agree god item. Just fun. It's impulse grenade 2.0. You go further. You don't take fall damage. Last but not least is the smoke grenade, which again, we saw back at a couple LTMs not too long ago. Why are you holding this? The reason for this is because it's just annoying. It's not skillful. It's just annoying. You're fighting someone, they throw the smoke bomb on the ground, and now you can't see them, and it's just annoying. But yeah, that is my tier list. Let me know what you guys think. Again, this is just my opinion. I mean, this isn't like an accurate, like this is better than this, but this is just my experience with the items in the game. And these don't even reflect with how much I think of those items. Like I would personally love to see Stormflip near the top, but it does really match the description of situational. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. It's just a little bit of fun. The only thing here that I can say with 100% accuracy is the bottle rockets. They definitely deserve their own place there at the bottom. And I mean, realistically, balloons aren't god item, but I just love them so much. I'm a big fan of the balloons, so I just chucked them there because I wanted to. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the tier list. If you guys want to see me do another one of these bad boys, let me know. Hit that like button down below. 27th of August, I believe, is when we're getting this brand new season. So I'm hyped for that. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.